Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and man, it is good to hear that little, stinger intro thing again. Anyway, welcome back to Kingdom Hearts 2 Good and Proper. We're past the title sequence, and, as we can see here, a hooded individual is about to buy out another company. How suspicious. But yes, Roxas' story is done, and now it is time to see the awakening.
Sora! Who's there?
Sora! Sora? Wake up!
Donald! Goofy!
Whoa! That was some nap.
You mean we were asleep?
I guess we must have been, or I don't think we'd be so drowsy. When do you think we went to sleep?
Let's see. We defeated Ansem,
Yep.
restored peace to the world, found Kairi. Oh yeah, and then we went to look for Riku. I think that's right so far.
Then what?
What does your journal say, Jiminy? Gee, there's only one sentence. Thank nominate. I wonder who that is.
Some journal that is.
Well, what do you say we find out where we are?
Now, while this does strike a bit of tonal dissonance, I can't lie, I just smile every time I see that intro, like, I don't know, like, I mean, after all the pain and sadness that Roxas has been through, even though it's a bit of a bizarre transition, I don't know, just to see Sora, Donald, and Goofy reunited, ready to roll on the next adventure, I don't know, like, I mean, like, in a way, like, I guess given Kingdom Hearts 2's duality theme, like, again, you're sad, and, like, I suppose if you were a big fan of Roxas, this could come across as a little bit, well, disrespectful to the character who we just lost, but I don't know, at the same time, like, all the build-up of the prologue, I kind of feel like made it worth it to finally see Sora, Donald, and Goofy again. But yeah, to also talk about a bit of context, again, basically just checking the file, again, to talk about basics here, first and foremost, yeah, everything from Kingdom Hearts 1 that you could access in terms of, you know, journals, stats, items, equipment, everything else, everything's all pretty much here, and in terms of level ups, everything that Roxas had leveled up pretty much goes to Sora, since, you know, he was his nobody. But yeah, and we also get the triumphant return of what I think is meant to be Sora's theme, and hot damn does it reflect the character. Like, I mean, you heard Roxas's previous theme, I think it was called The Other Promise, like, in the previous part, but again, it really reflects their characters, and makes me smile. But yeah, a bit of a change up to the journal. I'd say it's actually a lot more, like, UI friendly here. Again, you get to see journal entries on everybody else, you can scan their models. This, of course, reflecting Ansem here, who's going under mysterious names, because he will not reveal the truth. And then, of course, school uniform Kairi. Actually, a bizarre bit of trivia about Kairi, if slightly pervy, that was patched out for Final Mix. But I might save that for, like, right at the very end of the game, where that kind of became an issue, and, I'll leave it at that. Anyway, to talk about anything else for the time being, time of recording this, April the 11th, 2022, Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced, alongside Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. Hello, Selfie, we'll never see you again. But yeah, anyway, the announcement trailer just, actually just dropped today, so that'll tell you when this is recorded. This is probably going to be old news, and, depending on whether or not any new information comes out by the time this part is released onto YouTube, well, I apologize for being outdated, but, I am pretty excited. I mean, I'll probably discuss a little bit more of the trailer as such when we, you know, get out to the game good and proper, but I don't know. It's very interesting. The news actually came out a lot sooner than I was expecting here, but yeah, I'll give my brief thoughts on the trailer of Kingdom Hearts 4 and anything else once we get into town, but in the meantime, I think there are a few things that I should probably continue to talk about. And something I did kind of allude to right at the beginning of the commentary, actually, about how the game sort of handles the whole transition from Chain of Memories to 2. Again, a lot of people were a little bit confused about why Sora woke up in the pod rather than, you know, in the grassy field he was at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. Yeah, again, Chain of Memories was obviously meant to bridge the gap, but I guess, and again, I really don't know why they did this, but I guess for the sake of maybe not confusing players who didn't pick up Chain of Memories, they basically had the whole memory loss subplot and, you know, Sora waking up without memory of Chain of Memories, I guess to not confuse people about them referencing events nobody really gets. And again, the whole thank Naminé message basically being, you know, the crescendo to the ending, which in itself leads to Coded, but I don't know. I mean, you did get a little bit in the intro with Sora fighting against Marluxia, but I don't know, it does kind of make me wonder, like, if maybe, like, they maybe could have done a few new cinematics for covering Chain of Memories, because, like, I mean, they were, I mean, as you can see, even in the intro itself, they did include a few at once, and they could have had, like, a few voiced by Haley Joel Osment, or, you know, the other characters, but I don't know. Yeah, to me, it just seems like a bit of a convoluted way to try and reach around other games, which is, I guess their attempt to try and make it simpler, which is a bit of a bastion compared to other Kingdom Hearts games where, you know, you pretty much gotta be following all this stuff. But I don't know. Again, you could pretty much skim over Chain of Memories and you wouldn't really miss much, at least in regards to Kingdom Hearts 2, but again, that's just something for another day, really. Anyway, you can't go back inside the mansion because now it's time to explore the town.
You know, I think I've been to this town.
What's it called?
Guess I must have imagined it.
What do you want?
Nothing. Just wondering what was back here.
Now you know. This is our spot.
What? You're new around here, right? I'm Pence.
Hayner, nice to meet you. But we got stuff to do, so catch you later.
My name's Olette. Hey, did you finish up the summer homework yet? Independent studies are the worst, huh?
Homework?
Hey, what are your names?
Oh, sorry. We're Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
Hey there.
Sora, Donald, Goofy. We just met someone who was looking for you.
He sure seemed in a hurry. He had a black coat on, so I couldn't see his face. But he had these big round ears.
Ka-ting!
Where'd you see him?
At the station.
The station, thanks.
Well, you'd better get back to that assignment.
Later.
Oh boy, the kid's trying to find us.
Yeah, let's get to the station.
Yeah, you might be noticing the reason why, or at least King Mickey might be sort of lurking around. 358 over 2 days does kind of go into this, but I don't know. There is actually a bit of a gameplay mechanic to this as well, that does... again, at time of recording the commentary, I'm still recording the parts. I'm trying to research, like, what points the king can actually come and help you out, what that is. You might see, but, then again, I'm not really too sure. Anyway, putting things aside, yes, this is the real Twilight Town. All the other Twilight Towns are just imitating. With the real Twilight Town, please stand up, please stand up, please stand up. And in this case, we have the real versions of Hayner, Pence, and Olette. Yeah, they don't know who Roxas is, but in a way, there is a brief connection. Well, convolutedly so, but that's neither here nor there in this case. And again, like, a nice little detail between Sora and Roxas is that, again, the descriptions for a lot of the items, like the dartboard or the couch, again, it's, you know, it lacks a little bit of personality, because Sora doesn't know these people, and... oh, my mighty heart is breaking.
Hey, you. Where'd you come from? You here to pick a fight with us or something?
Fight? We're not here to fight.
Yeah, you big palooka.
Okay, smart Alex. Time to teach you how to behave in my town. Bring it.
Man, what a jerk.
One moment! If you're gonna fight, why not make it a proper struggle?
What?
You see, Cypher, I'm a really big fan.
What? What do you want?
In other words, I want to see more of your super cool moves. You handled the tournament with real style, and you absolutely dominated the title match. But I just can't get enough. Don't you see? The matches are far too short. And what's your name?
Sora.
Sora, if you want to fight a match, you just say the word.
Ah, damn, and here I was hoping for a Sora vs. Cypher boss fight. Well, you might just get your wish if you choose to come back to Twilight Town much later in the game. But, yeah, pretty much no other importance involving Cypher or Fu or Rai ever again. Actually, although, something I did actually pick up, because part of the reason why, at least in terms of recordings, there was a bit of a gap. I took a bit of a break because I got into a bit of a Final Fantasy VIII binge, which does kind of go into my next tangent, but, yeah, you might notice that, Cypher and Hayner tend to have a bit of a beef, and, something that I was thinking about while I was playing through Final Fantasy VIII was Hayner initially meant to be Zell? Because, I mean, like, yeah, again, one of Cypher's famous insults from the game, bizarrely, is Chicken Wuss, the same name that he used for Hayner. I mean, Zell. But I mean, he used it for Hayner, which was meant for Zell, so I'm wondering if Hayner was meant to be Zell at one point, and it was just changed to his own original character in a similar fashion to Sion Bartard becoming Sora? I don't know, it's, just kinda strikes me as odd, really. I guess I kinda wanted to limit the amount of cameos for some reason? I don't know. But I mean, to kind of go into Kingdom Hearts 4, actually, as a bit of a tangential thing with the whole trailer, I don't know if I'll link it, but yeah, we got a much more realistically Squaresoft design for Sora, and yeah, it seems to be going into the Final Fantasy Versus 13 direction. And again, like I must say, again, I know it's like very early footage and, you know, probably being dizzied up for the sake of you know, oh wow, we gotta get this game for the Unreal 5 engine or whatever, but yeah, like, I mean, in terms of looks, it's pretty solid. Kind of bizarre to see, like, a much more realistic render of Sora than what we're seeing here. Rest in peace, his clown shoes. But, yeah, I have to wonder if they might be going into a bit more of a Final Fantasy direction for this. I mean, there have also been inklings and rumors that it might include, like, Star Wars and Marvel worlds. I think, one of the images of the forest, actually, I think people postulate might have had, like, one of the chicken walker things from Return of the Jedi, but I don't know. It's all still speculative at this point, and we do at least have confirmation about Sora at least being alive at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, and I don't know, I'm curious. He also has a new outfit again. For some bizarre reason, like, it's close enough to his Kingdom Hearts 3 one, but it looks like he kind of got, like, a bit of influence from his Pirates of the Caribbean outfit from Kingdom Hearts 3 as well, so I don't know. I thought I would have had a lot more to say about the trailer, but at the same time, it's bizarre. I mean, for the most part of, like, what we've seen so far, it seems to be going in the more realistic Square Enix style direction, but at the same time, though, you do still see Donald and Goofy in the, you know, traditional Kingdom Hearts look, so whether or not it's going to be entirely in Quadratum or at least partially in the Disney worlds is up to a curiosity, really. I mean, it will be quite nice to see what they do with it, but again, it really depends on what information we get and when the game's coming out, because, again, if they're announcing it right now, like, barely like 3 years shy of Kingdom Hearts 3's release, I imagine it's going to be coming a lot sooner than the wait that we had to have for, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3, which, again, wasn't as long as a lot of people are led to believe. It wasn't from fucking 2006 to 2019, it was announced in 2013, and took a long while, mainly because of engine problems, but again, that's neither here nor there at this point. But in any case, yeah, this is around about the point where my controller was giving me issues, and I figured, you know what, fuck that, I'm switching my controller to something else. Which happens, I think after this session that I recorded, but yeah. And of course we have AP boosts and all sorts of items that can help us on our merry way, akin to what we had in Kingdom Hearts 1. Anyway, to go back to Kingdom Hearts 2, the game we're currently commentating on now, yeah, one thing I actually do really like is like a subtle difference in terms of music, because again, you'll realize that Roxas's theme was much more, you know, lazy days, end of summer vacation, you know, kind of hinting towards the end of his life. The Sora's theme, on the other hand, for Twilight Town is much more... Again, it's a little bit somber, but also much more lighthearted and a bit easier on the ears, and I don't know, like, I feel like that's a nice subtle reflection on how the two characters perceive their reality, so to speak. Like, I mean, Sora's a much more optimistic character, while Roxas is a bit more introverted and, again, kind of bleak, for the lack of a better phrase. And, like, I mean, even their battle themes, like, I mean, Roxas was very much like Sinister I believe the music track itself is called Sinister Sundown, whereas Sora's is... Oh, shit, I forgot what the name was, but, I don't know, it's a lot more jaunty and rumbly, and, it's nice. And also, we also have many accessories that can increase AP, magic abilities, strength, and all sorts of little enhancements here. Although, I'm mainly going to be leaving a lot of this to the synthesis side of things, which, again, I'll get into once we get into the world good and proper, because we are back to Sora, but at the same time, like Kingdom Hearts 1, we do gradually begin to relearn a few abilities, because as is the status with Chain of Memories, Marluxia pretty much sapped him of all his abilities, and of course, since we're no longer bound by the card system, well, gotta relearn shit all over again. Which is a bit of a common thing with Sora, but thankfully you tend to get more powerful and learn at least different abilities for the sake of, you know, story to gameplay segregation. And again, I'd say in terms of combat, Kingdom Hearts 2 is, still kind of my favourite, to be perfectly honest. Like, I mean, that's not to disrespect a lot of other games in the series, because though I might have criticisms for the Dream Eater stuff in Dream Drop Distance, or the command board of... no, not the command board. The command deck of, Birth by Sleep, they do at least have some interesting facets to them, even if, I kind of find them to be a bit pish in some instances. But again, Kingdom Hearts 2 pretty much keeps it as Kingdom Hearts 1 style, except a bit more fleshed out, a little bit more combat-focused. Again, the platforming has been downplayed admittedly, but it was never really much of an issue because the platforming in Kingdom Hearts 1, as you could no doubt tell through the Winifred shit levels and the fucking Tarzan world, can be a bit pish. What happened to the old woman and her cat Shiro? They were gone. Perhaps they were always gone. But yeah, I mean, apart from looking for treasure chests, this is pretty much the last $10 tour of Twilight Town, because I don't think we're gonna be back here for a while. I mean, you can't do any jobs, and a lot of the areas are kind of cordoned off, so not really much you can do here, but I don't know. It's good to explore around this place, if only to remember the ghost of what your heart feels. I suppose if I could liken it to anything, kind of like if you travel to a certain place and you feel sad for no reason. I mean, again, I'm not really sure what the credibility is for, like, past lives or spirituality or whatever, but I don't know. There's gotta be some bizarre explanation for shit like this. Yes, Ball, take out my aggression. I hate you. And yes, it seems even in Twilight Town there are trying times with work being unavailable. Yeah, but it's actually part of the reason why I'm recording again, actually, because, yeah, there was a COVID case in my, workplace, so, yeah, schedules have been fucked, and now we're pretty much gonna be pished, so, fuck. But in any case, that's enough faffing about, so, let's go to the Sunset Street station and, meet the king. Despite the fact that we know they are nobodies, we must defeat the strange enemies. And I will someday get that Christopher Lee impression down, I swear it. But yeah, this is also a scenario where, well again, you can fight as hard as you want, but since Sora, Donald, and Goofy haven't faced these enemies before, the challenges are too much for them. Well, that and they also just woke up, like, without a jolt of coffee or anything, so yeah, I imagine they're also a little bit fatigued, although the fact that muscular dystrophy hasn't really affected them, well, I mean, that's either a result of the memory pod, or I guess maybe Diz and Naminé keeping Sora fed, or anything really. And again, something I also want to talk about, I did kind of bring it up during the initial encounter with the straitjackets, but yeah, it's all to do with the Nobody's AI patterns. Like, I mean, comparatively to the Heartless that are a little bit more gung-ho about attacking you, again, relating to them being creatures of instinct, the Nobodies, on the other hand, actually tend to kind of skirt around you a little bit and play a little bit more tactfully. Which, again, I feel like is a very nice distinction in terms of enemy AI and behaviors that does quite nicely to characterize the Nobodies. Because, again, like, I mean, they'll usually have openings, tells for you to attack them, and again, it's not quite... It's not quite to the degree of like a Devil May Cry 1 kind of thing, where, you know, you really need to keep an eye out for those tells, but again, these are enemies that can pip you and catch you off guard, if you aren't really paying attention. And again, of course, it's also meant to play into the whole reaction command thing. But in any case, I am Solidus-Skully, keep a new metal, and it appears to be too much for our heroes! So catch you next time.
Your Majesty?
Shh. You gotta board the train and leave town. The train knows the way. Here.
Your Majesty!
The king? Was that really him?
It could have been. Yep, I know it was.
Now we know he's okay.
The king was locked in the realm of darkness, right?
Uh-huh.
But we just saw him.
Yep.
And if the king is here, that means Riku's here.
He's gotta be.
Well, I'm gonna go look for Riku. Then he and I can go back to the islands together. Kairi's there waiting for us. What are you two gonna do?
Oh. Gosh, Sora, do you have to ask?
Hey, what's so funny?
Your face. What do you say, guys? Let's stick together for one more journey. To where again?
We have to board the train.
Oh yeah. Come on,